Hey everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Talia and today we are doing part 2 of the nonsense from Chelsea Hart and Modern Warrior. Listen, I'm going to try to get through this thing as quick as possible because Lord have mercy, I have discovered so many different, deleted clips, the Instagram stuff. I mean, Twitter, there was a few, but there was nothing like, crazy over there, at least not for me. And nonetheless, this is part 2 and we're just going to go over the things that she put out there herself and let's discuss. So if you're interested in seeing this video, by all means stay tuned. But before you get all cozy, there's a subscribe button and a notification bell that's located over here. You got to click both of them. They go together. It's necessary for you to know when's the next time I upload. Okay? They're right there. Go ahead. Click it. Welcome to my channel. There is a subscribe button that's located right here. Alongside of it is a notification bell. Stay tuned. So before we even get started on this foolery, I like my look today, and no, I did not record it, but what I will do, I'll leave everything that I used today down in the description box, but I will also do a tutorial on it. I really like it. Like, it's really nice. Let's get started on this video. For those who haven't seen part 1, go ahead and pause this video and go to part 1. I'll leave it up here somewhere, wherever it's going to go, and go ahead and check that out first before we start this one. We're going to finish up the videos that she posted. For those who don't know who Modern Warrior and who Chelsea Hart is, they're both content creators on TikTok. Chelsea Hart is a comedian. She speaks out against misogyny. And then you have Modern Warrior, who is a Native American activist, who also kind of sort of spoke out on misogyny, but he is technically, a womanizer, misogynist, just, not what he says, not what he speaks against. He's actually everything that he talks about in that sense and how he treats women. We're just going to keep it a buck there. Just to kind of sum up from the first video, is just we're going to talk about how their relationship breakup, telenovela kind of situation popped off on TikTok. So we're just wrapping it up here. So I'm going to encourage you, for real, if you haven't seen part 1, go head over there and watch it, where I get a little bit more, I go into more detail of what the scenario is versus now. I didn't even write any more notes after the first video. I'm just going to react to the videos as I see them, and you and I will talk about them in the comment section, okay?
Several days after I left Lance's house in Denver, I saw this TikTok. The time and date stamp is the exact day I left his house. But by then, it was too late to take Plan B, and I now had to worry about an STD.
Where it's starting, so this video is actually taking place where she's showing a screenshot of when Lance, Modern Warrior, made a TikTok with the chick he took out on a date right after she left. I don't know, how long do you need before you can't take a Plan B? Let me look that up, because I really don't know. She said by that time it was too late to take a Plan B, but then she said it was just the next day, right? Okay, so the recommended time frame where you should take Plan B is within 72 hours. So hold on, I gotta go back to see what she said.
Several days after I left Lance's house in Denver, I saw this TikTok.
Several days after. Okay, so it was several days after she left his house is when she saw the TikTok, and then she said that it was too late for her to take the Plan B. But I still feel like it's still irresponsible. Things are unclear, and you know that the relationship expectations are unclear, your status is unclear, and you want to go ahead and potentially have a baby with someone, but still very reckless on both parties. But then I guess he had a vasectomy, so.
He swore to me that there was absolutely no one else, and I decided to keep it private for reasons like this. I confided in a couple other creators the night it happened. These are from the night before the tweet.
So you put this up and it's really not giving any form of information. Oh, if you have the space, yeah, for sure. What's up? It involves another creator who I don't want to cancel like at all. Yes, you did. People have been screen recording the things that she has put out that's just sent to her mutuals. So you really, at this point, shouldn't be cozy. You don't know anybody. Everybody that you know is online. So you're putting out your thoughts and your concerns or whatever. You're sharing it with everybody. And some of them have sold you out. But we'll get into all that. But, you know, she would. It appeared like she couldn't wait to tell somebody what was going on.
And this is what I tweeted directly before the tweet that is currently circulating, which is a joke I made to myself under the understanding I now had to get tested for an STD.
Why would that even be a joking matter? So let's go back to what that tweet says, the one that you were joking about yourself. So it states, there are people on this earth who've wronged me horribly and are desperately lucky I am me and not some vindictive psychopath, knowing you can rise above the standards set by your abuse. Is its own power. Fuck, I'm sexy. In this one tweet, it's just too much. Lucky I am me and not some vindictive psychopath. It has been proven otherwise. Sorry that you are very vindictive and may need some assistance of a therapist of some sort, because all this nonsense that we're all exposed to is a complete opposite of what you just tweeted here. And the standards set by your abuse. What abuse are we talking about? Can we be more specific? Because getting played is an abuse.
I called someone who knew Lance personally, and it was only then that they revealed to me that he was likely in a committed serious relationship the entire time we were an item. I had opened up my body in a way that I had vividly described to him was very difficult for me. And out of anger, I posted an Instagram story. When Lance saw the Instagram story, he sent me these messages.
So I don't have a problem with the fact that you have shared your heartbreaks with someone that you trusted. And it's like they use that to kind of use it against you. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I know you've been hurt. I know you've gone through stuff, but let me try to cozy you up to get in and do the same thing you've dealt with in the past. That's messed up. Modern Warrior is a dirtbag for that. Like I can sit here and honestly say that. It is obvious that she has gone through something because, and I don't want to, I'm not a psychiatrist. I've worked in behavioral health, but I don't have the credentials to sit here and diagnose anybody. But just based on experience, it just looks like she's been through some things. Even though you may have a lot of stuff going on, you don't necessarily use the coping skills that are taught. She did say that she seeks a therapist, and she should have seen a therapist before she decided to go online and do all this extra talking, because maybe she could have avoided all the backlash she's currently going through.
And proceeded to call me repeatedly until I answered. We were on the phone till 4 a.m.
Okay, so she said that we are on the phone until 4 a.m. For our iPhone, because it appears like, that they have an iPhone. For all of my iPhone users, say down in the comment section whether or not this is true. When you have been on the phone with someone, there is a timestamp. You can see all the canceled calls, right? So this is all the calls. Either she didn't pick up or, she called out and then he didn't answer. But from 4 a.m., from 3:59 to 4:03, I guess it was either calls back to back from one of them. But it doesn't appear like anybody was on the phone, because when you're on the telephone, it'll let you know how long you were on the phone for. As a matter of fact, let me go into my call log so then I could show you guys. But you can clearly see we only spoke for 2 minutes. You see what I'm saying? So how long were you on the phone with this dude per you? because all it shows is that there was cancer calls. It doesn't look like y'all were talking about nothing.
And he was telling me those things that he wanted to unalive himself till 4 a.m. He was driving into the mountains. But by that time, it was too late. The Instagram story had already been seen by thousands of people on Instagram and Facebook. I made that post. But since I've come out, there are now 5 of us who are all visibly identical, who had been manipulated into sharing our deepest fears and traumas and buying tickets to go see Lance Sosi in Denver in a romantic relationship. And that is why he screamed bloody murder on the phone to me, because he has a pattern of abuse that he didn't want me to know about, and he didn't want anyone else to know about.
But this is where it gets so freaking annoying. What abuse is it? And you're strategically using that verbiage. Are you calling it abuse because you guys share all your issues, all your aspirations, all your hopes and dreams for a romantic relationship, and he does the complete opposite? What are we talking about here? What is the abuse? Maybe she realized now how her verbiage was. You know what I mean? Like how she was coming across.
And now, at the first opportunity you are choosing an abuser over his victims. And now other victims are probably too shy to come out because you've made me look like a liar.
So what I'm going to do, before I even comment on this section, we're going to trail back and we're going to watch a video. Amanda is Banana Marie. I mentioned her in my last video. She does look similar to Chelsea. She really does. I don't know of all the 5 women. All I know of there's 3 that have come out and said that, hey, was talking to him, yada yada. So it was her, it was Chelsea Hart, there was Banana Marie, who we're about to see, and there was this other young lady. She's actually Black and Dominican, and her story is very different from these 2.
I've been debating posting this video all day, and I'm going to, because the truth needs to be told. The truth needs to be out there. And then I'm deleting TikTok, and I'm taking a long break from this app because I'm tired of being used as a pawn by people with larger follower counts than me, banking on my kindness to cover up and not acknowledge their shitty fucking behavior. Chelsea is absolutely using this moment to defame an Indigenous man. These are her white woman tears. I denied that yesterday, thinking that I was protecting somebody who's a victim. She's as much as a victim as I am, and you don't see me posting on Instagram that I need to go to the hospital, that I am potentially pregnant with this man's baby, that I am having thoughts about unaliving myself. All of this is for attention. Whether those things are true, she is posting about them to get your support, to get your sympathy, and to get followers.
So this is Banana Marie, and she made a video prior to this. I'm not going to show you guys this. I'll show you that video, but she had linked up with Chelsea initially. So she heard Chelsea's story and said, oh, that sounds very similar to mine. Let me hit this girl up. Hit them up. She made it. I guess they talked about each other's stories, compared, and they appeared to be identical. But I guess in the midst of all that, it hyped up Chelsea, like, oh, I'm not the only one. That's how it comes across. I don't know. But everybody got pissed because it was like, okay, now you have these 2 white women, and like they said, I guess white women tears or whatever. But there has been a history to where a white woman can cry, she can complain, whether it's true or not. Everybody's going to have her banking and automatically villainize the other parties. So there was a whole hiccup on that. Banana Marie started to notice then, like, okay, Chelsea's applying too much pressure. She's starting to do too much. And so then that's when she decided to make this video and basically outing her. So when you just heard that Chelsea was like, you know, you're out here taking the side of a man versus his victims. So again, that's so loaded because what do you classify? How do you classify a victim? What are we basing this thing on?
This is happening because she wants this attention. As soon as she found out that I could verify her experience with Lance, she has been calling me nonstop, yelling at me, pressuring me, telling me what to say, telling me what to do, telling me what to post, telling me what not to post, trying to control me and how I tell the truth about my experience with Lance. She is doing that intentionally. This is exactly what she wants, and I am not the only one who knows that. I had these concerns today and was feeling guilty, and I called to Verja to say, hey, I don't know what to do about this, and she has had the exact same concerns as I have had. She has been noticing the exact same things and has been dealing with the exact same behavior, and she's not the only other creator. The other creators just don't want to be known. Chelsea asked Verja to refer to her as the pregnant woman in Verja's videos.
Chelsea, do you see how that might come off a little? And Verja is another content creator, and I have a clip of hers in here too, but I'm not sure yet whether or not I should show you guys. Like all of this is like on repeat. She tells this other content creator to refer to her as the pregnant woman. Why though? It takes about 6 weeks to truly find out whether or not, no, actually not even 6, about 2 weeks after a sexual encounter to find out whether or not you're pregnant. Like, what are we waiting for? Why don't we know by now? Because that should have never come out this girl's mouth ever about being pregnant or even insinuating that she is pregnant. Refer to her as the pregnant woman. Young ladies out there, don't do this. Don't do this. Because this is so childish. It's so reckless. It's like, this is real high school-esque. Let me just shoot out, I'm pregnant. What does that do? What attention? Because even if you happen to be pregnant, sympathy shouldn't follow that. You know what I mean? Because as an adult, you made a conscious decision to get up with this guy and have unprotected sex. One thing you will get for sure out of a sexual encounter, you will either get a pregnancy, well, I mean, hopefully a good time, a pregnancy or STD if you're not careful. Guaranteed, baby. A disease that either you can take medication for or you're stuck with it like luggage. Guaranteed. So it's just like, why are we talking about this? Do you know or not know?
Because all this started to happen, I went, you know what? There's somebody else who knows Chelsea. I asked Lance. I just said, what was your experience like with Chelsea before giving anything away about what I was dealing with? And he said the exact same thing. And she honestly has verified all of it. Chelsea has verified all of it. She also said that she would call him nonstop, over and over, sobbing, crying, texting him constantly, always talking about unaliving herself, her mental health, everything. He said the same thing. Other creators have said the same thing. So for the past 3 days, not only have I been dealing with my own pain and own sadness, dealing with this whole situation, I'm dealing with this woman screaming at me. I woke up at 7 a.m. today, her calling me and yelling at me. So I'm done. The truth is what needed to be out there. I needed to tell my story so that Lance didn't use his platform any longer to take advantage of women. That's what needed to be said. That is the truth that needed to be talked about, not everything else. So I'm fucking done. I'm done, and you guys all get to know what's going on, and I'm leaving this. Like, I'm not going to deal with this anymore.
I never understood why people would call anybody back to back to back to back. And FYI, what fixes that is a good block. Okay, now let's go back to Chelsea's nonsense.
A relationship and babies, and I vividly described that to Lance after losing my baby a year ago.
So you told Lance you wanted babies, right? But did it necessarily mean that he was supposed to be the one to give you babies? Like, did you guys talk about whether or not you guys were going to have babies together? Was that even a discussion? Did he agree to that? Or was he just being a filthy McNasty and just wanted to do what most guys want to do without thinking of the repercussions of what can happen? Like, it appears like you were really living in La La Land. Like, you really had high hopes. You built this whole future with this guy. He wasn't even aware. That's unhealthy. She said something about losing her baby. Okay, hold on. We got to come back to that one. So she kept saying that she had lost this baby, right? And I'm gonna show you a video. I'm gonna show you in the rest of her videos how she describes it being a miscarriage, to where it was not, based on a text or a DM that she had sent this creator that I'm about to show you guys.
Hi guys, it's me, the amazing D253. There is a receipt floating around that confirmed that a certain creator had an abortion and not a miscarriage. That receipt came from me. And the reason I did it was because the more I went into this person's comment section, I was seeing women who have had multiple miscarriages, have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on in vitro fertilization treatments, and were still unable to conceive and unable to have children. And they carry this hurt with them. It just didn't seem right that these women were trying to give support to somebody who had made a conscious decision. Not taking away from anyone who's had an abortion. I myself have had an abortion, and trust me, that comes with its own set of traumas. However, it can't be compared to the trauma of actually losing a child, which I've never experienced. But I have had people close to me experience it, and the two are not mutually exclusive.
What kind of sicko goes around saying they had a miscarriage when they didn't? But wait till you hear her description of it. She has gone through great lengths to get sympathy from everybody based on fabrications. I'm not saying that having an abortion doesn't affect your psyche. Been there, done that, and it does. Even to this day, I think of due dates of how old my kid would have been, whatever. Ask God to forgive me for the things that I have committed. That's just my belief. No one has to go about, talking to God about what they've done. But for me, I had to do that. I had to do that. I had to cleanse my spirit because it does something to you. But I don't know what it's like to actually lose a child. I can't even fathom carrying a kid to, I don't know, even for 6 weeks. 6 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, you get all happy and all excited, and all of a sudden you lose the kid. That has to be torture. But you have this person with a following, and you use it to weaponize it to gain sympathy from people. You are a real special kind of crazy.
There is no question of my intentions with Lance Sosi. I'm going to let the next couple videos speak for themselves. Lance Sosi fully understood my desire for a committed relationship, my desire for exclusivity, and my difficulties with intimacy, which I repeatedly told him. And a month after this particular video that I just shared with you, he was asking me to send him things like this, after crying over the excruciating pain of losing a child.
Can we talk about it? She said that he asked, right? He asked for her to send pictures like this. If you didn't see it, I'm glad that I have it covered up in the screenshot to where you can't see it, but she's in her bra and panties. And she's trying to be clever, feeling as if, okay, let me take a screenshot of this madness right here. This is going to expose the nonsense. And all it really does is expose her. So the blue, for all my Apple users, the blue is her nonsense. And the black is what's coming through. So you can tell, and even in this text message, he had to postpone. So I'm going to give, and she states, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of my favorite piece of lingerie. It's really sexy. Mind you, so she sends that first text out, right? There's no response. It's really sexy. There's no response. I need you to see it. There's no response. It's preposterous how nice it is. Who talks like that? He finally responds, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Where in Sam Hill does it state that he was asking you for pictures like this after you've been hurt or after you've gone through a miscarriage? Show us those. Let us see those text messages, because what you're showing right here is how thirsty you were. We're just going to keep it a buck.
When I lost my child, I threw up from the pain of the contractions and fell asleep in a puddle of sweat. It was excruciating. Most of you will never understand the deep, primal changes that happen when a life...
Okay, wait. Okay. So, a man is asking you to send pictures after you have explained to him you've gone through a miscarriage, you have gone through such, pain and all this other stuff, right? And you proceed to do that. You guys are not in the same house, not in the same state, and you sent it anyway. just based on what you're saying, make it make sense to me. You don't have to, if you feel uncomfortable or if you feel like, okay, maybe this is a little sketchy. The blessing is you guys are in different states to where you didn't have to do absolutely nothing. Not a thing. You could have kept that business to yourself. He didn't have to see any pictures of you. But not only did you send it to him, now you let us all see your goods. Ma'am. I don't know. I've never had a miscarriage, so I don't know what that pain is like, but I know what labor is like. I don't think I fell asleep at all during the pain. You have to have some serious, like your pain tolerance has to be like out of this world for you to sleep through it.
Most of you will never understand the deep, primal changes that happen when a life grows inside of you.
Most of us won't understand. Does she think she's on this planet by herself? Please forgive me if you guys feel like I'm being insensitive, but I am allergic to stupidity, honey. I'm not dismissing the fact that this woman is hurt. Not at all. Not at all. I can understand her being hurt. She explained to this man what she wanted. He showed her something different. It has to be heartbreaking to have an expectation, and then next thing you know, this dude is online with another chick. That's horrible. But we're really going to put our acting skills to use and then just use real life situations as, as the plot? Why? And it's like you have over 1 million followers, potential to do real good things, and then you decided to take your heartbreak and let us all know about it in a very horrible way.
The sudden hormonal shift is astronomical, and it is even more astronomical to then have that life leave your body in tiny pieces.
For those of you, you don't even ever had to have had an abortion. You can Google it, and the pictures of what these babies, embryos, fetuses come out looking like, it is heartbreaking. But I don't know. Again, I never had a miscarriage. A DNC, I'm just going to assume that the same thing with the DNC is that, is the suctioning, the cleaning out. So it still might be in pieces depending on the stage of the pregnancy. No one finds this odd, like being so descriptive and you're making things up. No one. And then you actually sent a message to someone that you had an abortion. So did you forget? Or you were so trusting that that person wasn't going to put you out there when they felt that you were being dishonest?
I was quite honestly repulsed by the idea of dating, except for with Lance Sosi. I absolutely never would have given my consent had I known I was not the only partner.
That word consent. You consented. Chelsea, you consented to unprotected sex with a person that you only knew for 6 months to a year. A person that you only knew via text, via DM, and via telephone before you decided to fly your ass to where he was to have unprotected sex. You made that decision. Now, you didn't sign up to be played, but guess what? You did. So, what you gonna do about it? You're not a victim. None of that. You're not a victim of essay. You're not a victim. In this scenario, you're not a victim. You just got played.
These are the messages Lance would send me in full knowledge of my breakdowns.
What would have been helpful in this case was, if you're showing text messages, at least show something, some form of evidence saying that you poured your heart out to this guy versus being thirsty. Because it also, I'm not going to show any of these, there's also videos out there that this girl was like truly like stitching videos, talking about him all the time and just giving props on how handsome he was, what kind of man he was. Meanwhile, this man didn't throw none of that energy back to her. But yet she gave him time. And that wasn't a red flag either. You over there doing all types of videos on his behalf, and he's also a content creator, and he never threw that same energy back. That's a red flag to me? Anybody? Okay, so in this daggone text message, he sends, I want to squish you. I'll protect you from everyone. Now, I don't know if she deleted messages so where you can't see what's in between because it's just, there's no context. You're beautiful, and fuck people up who dare to say shit to us. We are unstoppable. I will fuck up all your enemies. I don't know what none of this means. Like, it just seems like there's nothing to follow up on. Okay, him saying that he'll protect you. I will protect my best friends. That doesn't mean I want to date them. That doesn't mean we're going to have some relationship. That means that if you're my friend and I see you in a jacked up situation, I got your back. There's no more to that. Because you had sex with a person one time or whatever the case is, does not mean that you're in a relationship. Just because you talk to a person for a long period of time does not mean that you're in a relationship. Trust me when I tell you. I will sit here and say, and I'll put myself out there, I legit talked to a person for 6 years. 6 years we were in a relationship. We weren't in a relationship. We were in a sexual relationship. At the time when I got together with this guy, I wasn't ready for anything serious. You know what I mean? But then as things went on, I wanted to get a little serious and he wasn't really feeling me. But we proceeded to be in in that kind of relationship for 6 years. 6 years up until he told me he proposed to somebody else. You want to talk about hurt? It's done. Over and out. Plain and simple. Was I hurt? Hell yeah, but there was nothing else to talk about. Over and done with.
I made a reactionary post to finding out that my innermost traumas had not only been ignored, but violated so egregiously. I had already opened the box, and the tidal wave was coming. I said it in my first video.
Okay, what's making this so hard to even watch too? It's like, what are we watching? It's so a tidal wave. Can we talk normally? Like, why can't you just? It's so theatrical that it's just like, come on, man. Like,
and for those of you saying he just didn't like you that much, that makes it worse. Don't you understand? A man has built his entire platform based off of anti-misogyny, anti-oppression, and he watched someone snot-nosed, drooling, crying over a dead baby to get in their pants.
Do you see? You think that's what he did? There are some true dogs out here. I don't know Modern Warrior for a can of paint. Lord knows I'm not coming to his defense. I'm just using my common sense. Out of all the things that you guys possibly could have talked about in this 6-month span, do you think he took that particular scenario and said, hey, open opportunity to go ahead and bang this chick? There's nothing sexy about that situation. Now, the only thing is that, of course he was building trust. Y'all were growing some form of friendship, the get to know yous or whatever the case is. Just because you have these, and just for future reference, just because you have these serious conversations with anybody doesn't mean they're going to, care. You have a whole listed category on your Instagram page talking about this nonsense. It's bad enough to be abused at all by men you trusted. It makes the pain of betrayal so much greater when it was a man who knew the intimate details of my panic attacks, triggers regarding intimacy. For all of you wondering what this is about, more women are coming forward. How could you profess with your mouth how women are sacred and discard us and violate our consent? Listen, I don't know about the other ladies. I can't speak on women who haven't come forward. We already saw what Banana Marie stated. With the Black Latina, she basically says in hers is that it was the complete opposite of what everybody else said. Her and Lance had a conversation, and he told her that he didn't want a relationship. She also said the same. They did whatever they had to do, and they moved on. She also mentioned that he was mean a few times or whatever the case is. She didn't understand where that energy was coming from, but she just wanted to say her experience was not the same as these other women. TikTok had a field day with that too. It was just like, okay, I guess it was other Black content creators that were saying, hey, all of this appears to be a little suspect based on race. Now, I'm going to quickly say what a lot of people on TikTok have mentioned was that this is kind of given like Emmett Till vibes, where the white lady who accused of Emmett Till of whistling being inappropriate to her lied based on just crying and ranting and telling her husband that, you know, some young black kid was being inappropriate. And so they felt like this was just what Chelsea was doing. Now, Emmett Till was very different. Okay, so her next post was, and to the people wondering why I spoke out, do you think it's well and truly proper for an influencer to use the credibility of his anti-oppression platform to lie and manipulate women to sleep with them under false pretenses, all while unprotected raw dogging lying to each of them about the other and potentially spreading all manner of STIs to them without their knowledge? Let me know. Do you see how this whole situation will give you a whole daggum headache? Okay, my personal opinion. Y'all can let me know if I'm wrong. Just because a person is a dog, a cheater, a manipulator, or whatever the case is, I feel like they need some form of exposure to a degree. I don't know if he has actually truly abused anybody, so I can't speak on the other women. But to sit here and say, okay, yeah, he's a hypocrite. You can't sit here and talk about misogyny and how whack it is if you partake in that. If you're that guy, like you're a whole hypocrite. So you're no longer credible. Now, that by itself will deplatform him. But basically, just because you're hurt doesn't mean that it's okay for you to try to snatch everything he's done. That's crazy. Is he wrong? Yes. Maybe all the women he has done dirty should get together and say something to each other. Sure. But I don't think this should have been put out in a public forum. And as far as spreading the STIs, ma'am, you contributed to that, right? He's not the only person who can spread them. He don't know where you've been. This one says, I was so happy, Lance. I had the worst year of my life and you just seemed to swoop and let me open up, told me sweet nothings and buttered me up. Again, anybody will say anything, and especially when they know that you're hurt. It's like, I'm going to make you feel better as much as possible. And we don't know this man's intentions. He never really said what his intentions were. All we know is that polyamory was a discussion. After that, we don't know nothing else. Everyone who knows me knows how cataclysmic having you in my life was for me. I kept telling you I never misrepresented myself. I kept telling you that I wanted to be exclusive. I needed that security because of how much hurt I was feeling. I told you, wait a second, her stuff. I'm going to go over the deleted scenes. But all this extra, granted, you were so hurt last year. How long did it take you to move on? Within that year, you lost a baby, per you. Somebody impregnated you, right? So from the moment you lost your kid, lost the man guy who was in your life, right? How long did it take you to jump on to Lance? How hurt were you? Just a question. Because how it's coming off is it doesn't take much. Because it's coming off is that you do want a family, you want kids, you want a relationship, you want to feel secure, and you're willing to do whatever in order to get that. That is unhealthy. She also made statements on these Instagram stories that she wanted to unalive herself. Y'all looked at, unalive, you can kind of know what that is. And people don't seem to understand those who are truly thinking about unaliving themselves. They're very strategic about when they're going to do it, how they're going to, when they're going to do it, how they're going to do it, and what their last moments are going to consist of. And how, at least the experiences that I've had, the education that I've had, that they're not going to really broadcast it. You know what I mean? You might, after they're gone, you might notice some signs that they left. Like you could tell that they were either sad or they were going through something, or they thought about it, or they were seeking help and no one really paid attention to it. this attention-seeking behavior can really truly mess you up in the long run when you really need someone to look out for you. Because at this point, who's going to know how to handle you? Whatever you were looking for, it may take you a long time to get there because now everybody doesn't have to deal with you with a 10-foot pole.
I maintain, Lance, that I want to feel wanted. It's not nice to feel like a burden. It's not nice to feel like if I message enough, then I'll finally get a response. You know, it really fucks me up.
But then you just stated, if I send enough messages, then I get a response. That wasn't a red flag for you either?
Like when you tell me like you're falling asleep, which I believe you. I'm not saying I don't believe you. And then to see you go live on TikTok for 3 million people who 6 months ago didn't know who you were, but I knew. And I've always believed in you.
This dude legit said to you, hey, I'm sleepy. I'm going to cut this call short. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. And then you see him go live. Now he's dumb for that. Like, you lied to her about being tired. I mean, I can understand her being salty. Why would you continue to pursue a situation where you're getting lied to over petty stuff? Or what was the reason to why he felt the need to lie to you over something so small? Was it because of all the messages that you send? And maybe he felt like you were that vulnerable that he couldn't be honest with you because he didn't want to break you? Is it all the calls you place that, you know, he felt the need to be like, okay, the only way I can get this chick off the phone is if I tell her I'm asleep? I'm going to say it again in this video. You could be sad without trying to force a cry. Crying is good. Crying is healthy. But some of us struggle to cry naturally. But that doesn't mean that we're less sad because tears don't come down our face. When you're squeezing, you're wiggling your face, you're shaking your head to have something fall out your eyes, it's too much. We all see that.
And you've always been so special to me. And I felt so safe, and I really believe that you wanted me to feel safe. I really think you care. But you've been so quiet and so removed recently. Did you know that I wanted to kill myself the other day?
So let's talk about manipulation. Let's talk about manipulation at its finest. But because he has withdrawn and trying to keep it cool without causing a scene, you get up all in your feelings. You know what I mean? He should have been more clear as far as not wanting to deal with you anymore. He should have been clear about that. But you're letting us all know that all of this was you.
Did you know I was so sad? I wanted to die.
So do you want to force a person to be with you? Do you want to force a person to be around a situation they don't feel comfortable with? Or do you want to be with a person who's willing to take you as you are with all your issues, all your pain, all your hurt, all your greatness? Like, which one would you rather? Would you want a person who wants to take all that in, or a person who says, you know, nah, that's too much for me? You can't force the situation. And it comes off like you were really forcing it. Like, okay, telling him that you want to take your life. Like what? Okay, Chelsea, let's get together. No, he should run even further away from you because that is manipulation.
I dreamt of walking down the street from my house and just I fantasized about jumping in the Hudson Bay down the street from my house. Because I have been so close to the things that I want in my life, like babies and stuff, and had it all ripped away. I've never really had a big family or a big support group. It's always just been me.
I don't want to keep busting this woman down because I don't know what it's like to want to take my life. I don't know what it's like to fantasize about having kids because God blessed me with 4 of them, 3 biological and a bonus. But what length are you trying to go to get these things? But then do you have to go through all of this in order to reach it? Because now you done set yourself back. Everybody and their mother done seen this side of you. it's going to take a special person to deal with you after this. Okay, I'm going to screenshot this. So she's not really like noticing how much she's texting. Well, maybe she said it out loud, but even with this, it's just like, you know, you could see, I'm not going to read it, but you could see how much she texts versus how much he texts her back, or even texts at all, based on what we're looking at here.
It's really hard when we build up and it was very mutual. It was very mutual, and I still think it's mutual. It's really hard when we build up, and there's a precedent set of so much flirtation and sexy stuff.
Not sexy stuff.
And I made a big sacrifice. I made a big sacrifice to buy a ticket to come see you because I really, really, really trusted you.
A big sacrifice? Did you go hungry? Not only has he lied and said, I'm going to sleep and go live, right? He has rescheduled, postponed meeting times. And then he doesn't even have the energy, nor does he care to come out and see you. He's having you make all the moves. Like, I guess if you want to come see me, you're going to have to be the one to do it because, girl, I'm not coming out to you. I'm getting those vibes. I'm throwing all types of signs at you, and you still are just making sure you get to me. Does anyone not see this? This is something.
I really, really believed. I somehow still believe that it was really special.
It wasn't.
That this guy was different. That he was gonna see how much care I have in me and how much love I have in my heart, and he was gonna see it. And finally somebody was gonna give it back to me.
You know how she was putting it out there as if she was SA'd? I hope that everybody kind of comes back to this and sees these deleted videos. You were really trying to get him to see you. And it's sad that he didn't see you in the way that you wanted him to see you. But, girl, all of this for one dude? I mean, because he made you feel safe, because he listened to your cries. Okay. Like, we have friends for that. What was so outstanding about him? Because it still doesn't stand out like, okay, anything exceptional about him. He would ghost you. He rescheduled. He would lie. And none of this sound off in your head that something wasn't right. Like, you guys were not connecting. You were forcing something.
And finally somebody was gonna give it back to me.
I can't do the crying scenes. When I see other people cry, it's not funny, but in this case it is. We would have never seen any of this if she kept it to herself. We all know that it wasn't abuse. She was just hurt. She wanted more than what this dude was willing to give. She didn't take her past experiences and she didn't learn anything from them, so she just repeated something that clearly she probably normally does. You don't sit here and call nobody to death. You don't sit here and text someone to death. You don't sit here and you don't sit here and threaten that you're going to take your life to get someone to see you to death. Just so they can say what? Like, what comes after that? There's still no relationship. They think that you're crazy. Using all those tactics, there's no benefit to it.
'Cause, Lance, I don't want to be chasing your attention when you give it to 3 million people all the time.
So then don't. But you were doing that. You were truly chasing him. No, you shouldn't have to. No one should have to chase anybody. Regardless of your status, always take care of yourself. Always take care of yourself. Because you never know. You never know, and you want to still be good with you in case you got to get back out there and do you. Always think of yourself.
3 million people who didn't know who you were 6 months ago. I knew and I believed in you.
So this man decides to go live, and you felt because he went live that you should have took priority. So then when you didn't get priority, that still didn't ring a bell off that he wasn't interested?
I saw your potential and I still see it when you didn't see it.
You still see a person's potential that you claim that you are a victim of?
And I really still believe in it. And I would like to feel like the same priority to somebody else.
Maybe one day, if you thought it was a struggle before, honey, it's definitely going to be a struggle now.
Because I feel like a second thought. I feel like a second thought. That's what I feel like. Because you say you have a detached attachment style, then what are you doing to fix that? What are you doing to work past that?
Why do you care about what he's doing and how he's healing and how he's progressing if he has taken advantage of you, manipulated you, abused you? Listen, I could do even a part 3, and I know this video is going to be long. We're just going to end this because, again, there's so much. There's more deleted scenes and things of that nature. So I'm just going to end it here of this part 2. It's going to be long, and I hope that you guys are okay with that. This is a whole situation to where everybody involved made poor decisions. Like, what do you get out of typing up your feelings online? Keep things private. Not everything has to be exposed. Not everybody wants to know your business. And at the end of the day, you got to protect your mental health at the end of the day. At the end of the day, have your feelings. Should people who have caused some form of abuse be exposed? Yes. But this wasn't the case. I just feel that a woman got hurt and she took the opportunity to hurt the person that hurt her. And it was sad. Now, people say there's other women involved. Karen had a live last night where she said this whole situation has now prevented the people of color who he has offended or has done whatever to come forward. I don't know what all that means, because if there was any form of true abuse, people need to go and talk to their local police department, wherever he's located, talk to them and get that popping. But if it's just this man being a womanizer, y'all keep that amongst yourselves, because it's not even worth bringing that out to disturb everybody's peace with. Because all we're going to do is pick it apart. And then people don't seem to realize this is going to stick to you. Hell, this even made it onto Google's first page when you sign into Google. If you like videos like this, please let me know down in the comment section. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And I would definitely connect. If you want to connect with your girl on social media, you can find me on everything on Talia's Eye Candy. That's on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. And even on TikTok, you can find me there. And I will catch you all in the next one. Bye.
Es que yo estoy buena, es que yo estoy dura. Yo sé que tú me quieres dar toda la noche entera. Tú no mueves la cadera, yo sé que te desespera. Pero con esta negra no hay quien pueda.